phone on you? And what do you want to do about guests?
We're not going to introduce them by name.
So explain it.
Welcome, everybody. It's so great to see so many people here today. So welcome again. I'm Joe Gorelka, president of Oakland Rotary number 3. We're the 3rd oldest Rotary club in the world, but you can call me Coach Joe. Around the world, there are more than 45,000 Rotary clubs with 1.2 million Rotarians in over 200 countries. Most cities you can name have a Rotary club. We have both local and global impact. We gather weekly as business and community leaders to make a difference in the world and right here in Oakland, to support each other and to support each other's businesses, and for some fellowship and fun. So glad you are here. Now I'd like to, and we're going to move a little fast because we have a busy, full agenda, and we have a fabulous speaker that I want to make sure gets introduced on time. I'd like to introduce visiting Rotarians and guests, and if those visiting Rotarians and guests would stand all at once. We have so many, I don't think we're going to have time to introduce you all by name. So welcome to Rotary, and please come back and we'll make sure we get a chance to introduce you by name. So please welcome my general manager and our president next year, Merlin Edwards, a lobbyist and consultant. Merlin is going to give us a thought for the day.
Thank you, Joe. The time for seeking global solutions is running out. We can find suitable solutions only if we act together and in agreement. Pope Francis.
Thank you, Merlin. So this week, we have not one, but 2 meeting sponsors. And you might ask, what is a meeting sponsor? Well, for $300, you can promote your business or event to 250 local business leaders and community leaders, both in person and in our online newsletter, the Live Oak. I think it's the best promotion deal out there. And now I'd like to bring up our first meeting sponsor, Kira Pasco, Director of Development at Oakland Parks and Recs Foundation. Kira?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy to be here today with my fellow Rotarians. I have a question for you. How many of you have been to a city park in the past month? Please raise your hand. Fantastic. How many of you feel that parks make a difference for youth? Please raise your hand. Doubly fantastic. Well, I am here today because the Oakland Parks and Recreation Foundation is launching our STEAM in the Parks campaign, an effort to expand hands-on science, technology, engineering, art, and math learning for Oakland youth. That is what STEAM stands for. Across recreation centers like Studio One, the Discovery Center, town camps, after-school programs, and Rotary Nature Center and Refuge, more than 1,300 young people explore STEAM each year. Please change the slide. Good for that one. And you know what they are doing? They're building rockets, shaping ceramics, experimenting with nature, science, creating animation. All experiences that spark curiosity, confidence, and creativity. But many young people still can't participate without support. These programs, they rely on skilled recreation specialists, and scholarships are absolutely essential to make sure that cost isn't a barrier for these young people. STEAM also helps youth understand that exploration and mistakes are a part of learning. It teaches resilience, problem solving, and how to approach challenges with creativity. These are skills that matter both now and in the future. They also sound like skills of future Rotarians. As our board member, Dr. Howard Nathal says, please change the slide, whether it's the science behind rainbows and ice cream or exploring the outdoors, STEAM gives children experiences that open their eyes beyond their everyday lives. And change the slide. Our campaign goal is $100,000, and every gift helps open doors. Here are 3 examples. $250 will provide a partial STEAM scholarship. $650 provides a full week of STEAM for one young person. And $5,000 supports a multi-week STEAM cohort. This sparks curiosity, it grows confidence, and it builds futures. Please change the slide. On your table, you will have a flyer. And this flyer has a QR code. The QR code goes directly to the donate page. Any amount you give will make a difference. Please donate anything that you can. Feel free to take one, share it with friends, anyone else who might want to be involved. And if you want to talk with me about this campaign or about partnership, please see me after the meeting. I want to thank you so much for supporting Oakland's parks and youth. And also, I am so happy to bring this campaign here to you in this room and to my fellow Rotarians. Thank you.
Kara, thank you. And thank you for partnering with us on our tree planting project just a month or so ago, and I know we're going to do many more projects with you as well. Our next meeting sponsor was arranged by the Coss Reed Group. I want to thank Isaac for making that arrangement for us, and I have to say, I know the internet, oh wow, there they are. I was wondering where you were. I was getting worried. Thank you, Marvin. Very good to see you. The Interfaith Gospel Choir is certainly privileged to have Isaac on the team, as we are to have Isaac in our club. And now I want to bring up, I guess, the Interfaith Gospel Choir. I thought it was going to be Maureen, but Maureen Amdahl, Executive Director of the Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir, but I look like we're going to have the Gospel Choir sing their presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. We were in the back trying to make sure we had our note. Thank you for having us out this afternoon. We are here to encourage you all to come to our annual holiday concert at the Paramount, December 6th at 7 o'clock. We're going to have a wonderful time. We'll be singing holiday songs and gospel songs. It's our 40th year anniversary celebration. So we also, come on, give it up. We're going to have all of our choirs, the gospel choir, the youth choir, the community choir, which any of you can join. It's non-audition. Just come one Saturday a month and have a wonderful time. You might hear something like this. Oh, come on up so they can hear you. Okay. Just give me on. Oh, holy night, stop. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. Fall on your knees, oh, hear something like that, or you might hear. Ding dong, 3, 4. Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing. Ding dong merrily in the sky, is riven with angels singing. All right. You might hear something like that. Or you might hear, joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. And then you'd have to scoop up some joy. Joy to the world. Everybody say joy. Joy to the world. Last time, everybody say joy to the world. Thank you, everybody. Come on out and hang out with us. Thanks for having us.
You want to say a little something real quick?
Rotary 2025 to save 30%.
Rotary 2025 to save 30%. I plan to be at their 40th anniversary performance on December 6th. I hope you all join me there. Thank you. Thank you, Terrence. Now it's time to do something, the best job in Rotary, welcoming a new player to the team, to strengthen our bench and be able to continue doing good around the world and right here in Oakland, both now and in the future. New members receive a Rotary pin and badge and a packet with the Rotary 4-way test and a Rotary 4-way test coin and a ball cap. Our new member is sponsored by Linda Bosnicker, retired CEO of both Girls Inc. and the Girl Scouts. Linda, as a thank you for being a sponsor, I have a 4-way test coin for you, and please come introduce our newest Oakland Rotarian.
Thank you. I almost called you a past president.
Oh, I love that.
Fellow Rotarians, wasn't that great from the Interfaith Gospel Chorus? That was fabulous. Well, I have a great job today, too, because I could not be more pleased to introduce our newest Rotarian. Janelle Kavanaugh is the Chief Philanthropy Officer at the East Bay Community Foundation. And I met Janelle when I went to Girls Inc. She was the Chief Development Officer at Girls Inc., and she helped me design the campaign that brought Girls Inc. to Oakland. And I will tell you that she is the most talented fund development staff person I've had the opportunity during my 40 years to work with. So you should get to know Janelle. 2 interesting facts. Janelle, after college, spent 3 years in the Peace Corps in Thailand.
Ooh, nice.
I don't know, did you learn the language?
Neat noi.
I think that means a little bit. And in her spare time, she enjoys copying masters' pieces of art. I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, fellow Rotarians, President Joe, please join me in welcoming our newest Rotarian, Janelle Kavanaugh.
Isaac, would you mind taking a quick picture? We're going to take a quick picture. Linda? Janelle, I have your Rotary pin and badge. This pin is recognized around the world. It comes with 250 new friends here in Oakland and 1.2 million worldwide. We already know you're a superstar, and I hope you will always remember, you can say, put me in, coach. Welcome to the Oakland Rotary number 3 team. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Looks like we have a bell ringer, Jim Bosnicker. Jim Bosnicker rings the bell in honor of Janelle. Thank you, thank you. And now I want to bring up Angela Darby, a local insurance specialist and agent with Allstate Insurance. including having insured crane companies that worked on the Bay Bridge. Angela has a little information on a service day coming up. Angela?
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Just a quick reminder about our annual St. Vincent's de Paul Christmas event coming up December 13th from 8:30 to 3:30. This year the club will be hosting, so all we must do is show up and bring your wonderful Rotary spirits with you. I truly hope you'll take a little time out of your busy holiday schedule to join your fellow Rotarians in fellowship and service. This event gives us a chance to support individual families in our community who could use an extra bit of kindness, warmth, and encouragement during the season. For many, this day is a bright spot in a challenging time, and your presence makes a difference. Whether you can stay for the whole day or just a few hours, we'd love to see you. To sign up, reach out to Catherine Coleman, who is helping coordinate volunteers. A quick safety reminder, this area could be a bit lively, and parking can be limited, so we're asking that you carpool if you can. Thank you again for continuing to spread your kindness, your Rotary spirit, and maybe even a little holiday fashion fun. Events like this shine because of your generosity, your energy, and your willingness to show up for others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah. I encourage all of you to consider showing up for the service day. I've been a couple times, and I can't tell you how rewarding it is. It's super well organized, and the families that come with children very much need some encouragement and joy at that time of year. It's right around the Christmas time. So now I'd like to bring up Deborah Barnes, retired president of the Alameda Health System Foundation, and Andrew Brown, director of leasing at Embarcadero Capital Partners, for some information on how we can help feed the hungry.
Hi, everyone. Wow, look at this great crowd. I hope we have the same on December 4th. You know, we've already had a lot of excitement with our wonderful choir, and I understand there's a band somewhere lurking that might be joining us.
He's not starting yet. He's
Any moment. And Andrew and I are here to tell you about the Feed the Hungry drive on December 4th. Yes, it's that time of year again. The time when we open our hearts and our wallets to feed the hungry right here in Oakland. We'll hear from our guest speaker that day, who's a food bank board member, Salim Gilmore, talk about what's been going on behind the scenes to fight hunger in our community. It's only gotten worse, as we know, thanks to the government shutdown, and it's slow to recover. We Rotarians want to help ensure no one goes hungry in our community on any day. So we're partnering with local charities on the front lines who routinely welcome very long lines of needy people seeking food to feed themselves and their families during the holidays and every day. Andrew, please tell us who they are.
Thanks, Deborah. Hello, fellow Rotarians. This year, the Community Service has selected the beneficiaries of our annual food drive, and most of those names you'll be familiar with. They include Alameda County Food Bank, Operation Dignity, St. Mary's Center, St. Vincent de Paul, SOS Meals on Wheels, and Community Kitchen. All funds raised on December 4th will go directly to these community partners. We've all seen the recent reports, mothers in tears wondering how they'll feed their children, and seniors unsure where their next meal will come from. While it's encouraging that SNAP benefits have once again began moving in the right direction for those who qualify, we know it's still not enough to ensure that no one in Oakland will go hungry. Our charities are struggling. We on the committee can see it clearly. We've received 3 times as many grant requests this year compared to last. The need has never been greater. So please be generous and make plans to attend next week's meeting. It's a wonderful way, December 4th meeting. It's a wonderful way to kick off the holiday season, and it may even help with your tax deductions. We look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you, Andrew and Deborah. Would you guys mind staying up for just a moment? Sure. I have something special I want to give you. Deborah, Andrew, in recognition of your service above self efforts in co-chairing our Community Service Committee, including establishing a new way to rank grants so that our resources are best, provide the best efforts that they can in our community. I present you both a community, or a Rotary on the Run medal. Thank you so very much. And I want you to know, I have had many comments about how well your committee is run and how much they appreciate you taking a new look at how we approve grants. Great. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
So our Cal band is running late. So I'm going to have our speaker come on, and when our speaker finishes, we'll bring up the Cal band. So please welcome Allison Lindquist, President and CEO of the East Bay SPCA, to introduce our speaker.
Good afternoon. It gives me incredible pleasure, and it's an honor to introduce my friend Guy Consolmagno, known to you all as Brother Guy Consolmagno. We met back in 1983 as Peace Corps volunteers in Kenya, and when we got back from Peace Corps, most of us went on to comparatively pedestrian jobs. But not Brother Guy. He became a Jesuit brother, and the next thing we knew, in 1991, he is the Pope's astronomer living in the Vatican. So he definitely has stories. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Brother Guy Consolmagno to the podium, and he'll tell you a little bit about his life as the Pope's astronomer.
All right. Can we start with the slides? This first slide I'm going to show you is a short film, about 30 seconds. The talk I'm giving is A Jesuit's Guide to the Stars, which cleverly is the name of my new book, hint, hint. But let's take a look at this. This is the town of Castel Gandolfo, where I lived for the last 32 years. And the current landlord has shown up in this palace that was built back in the 1590s. In the 1930s, these telescope domes were put on top of the palace. You can see the terrible scenery that I have to deal with all the time. When Pope Leo was elected, he decided to renew the policy of having vacations out in Castel Gandolfo. And because we have our telescopes there, we were invited him to come and take a look. You could actually see the moon in the morning, so it's not crazy. He really was looking. Next slide. Next. Right. The astonishing thing about the Pope having astronomers is that, in fact, even in Scripture, you can see images of space. You can think of the Psalms that say, the heavens proclaim the glory of the Lord. You can see, remember the Psalms that say, Lord, essentially, Psalm 8, I'm so small, you're so big, who am I, and yet I'm little less than an angel compared to you. Let's try the next slide. I'm a Jesuit, and that means I belong to the order that was founded by Ignatius of Loyola, and he himself was an amateur astronomer. In his autobiography, we hear that he would just go outside and look at the stars, something that anyone can do, something that I discovered people in Kenya when I was in the Peace Corps would love to do. Just go out, look at the stars, and remember that they are always there, even when it's cloudy and you can't see them, and they are always beautiful. and that this beauty cannot be taken away by any of the goofy things we do to ourselves down here on Earth. The next slide. I want to talk a little bit about the religious basis of science. And people are kind of confused. I'm a Jesuit, I belong to this religious order, but we also do science. If you think of it, science is a logical way of looking at the universe. Every logical system has to start with axioms, with things that are so obvious you assume them because you could never prove them. Euclid had a whole bunch of those that we had to learn in high school, the bit about parallel lines and all of that. There are 3 axioms you have to believe in order to be a scientist. First of all, you have to believe that the universe is real. We're not in the Matrix. I'm not just dreaming that I'm a butterfly. And there's no way I can prove it, but you have to assume that. Secondly, you have to assume that the universe makes sense, that there are laws to be found. Not all religions believe that. The ancient Romans had this sense of, lightning strikes because Zeus threw a bolt. You see a bolt of lightning, why was that? Well, Zeus threw it. That's the Greeks actually said Zeus, the Romans said Jupiter. If that's your explanation for why things happen, because there's a bunch of nature gods making it happen, you're not going to be a scientist. You already got your answer. It's only when you say, no, I don't believe in all of those Roman gods. Christians are almost atheists, because we only believe in one God. And with that belief, then I can have the courage to say that I bet you there is an explanation, even if I don't know what it is. I mean, who was the first person to think there were laws of nature? Good philosophical argument, maybe Aristotle. Without the assumption that there are laws, you wouldn't know to look for them. But the third and the most important assumption is that the universe is worthy of study. There are people out there who will tell you that the physical world is evil, that chocolate was invented as a lure of the devil to make you fat and give you acne. But, to a Christian who says God created the universe and saw that it was good, we recognize that chocolate is a foretaste of heaven, and it should be treated as something sacred. You see? And with that attitude, you can spend a lifetime doing nothing but exploring all the different ways you could make chocolate, or all the different ways you could understand the sky. Let's see the next slide. Some of these slides are a little bit out of order, but I can work around it. When people talk about faith and science, usually they'll ask me about Galileo, because they don't know what else to ask me about. Because that's really the only example. Everything you knew about Galileo is wrong. The church still messed up, but not the way you people think. You can go to that slide. Go to that slide. This is a book written by a Jesuit 20 years after Galileo, trying to explore the physical universe to see if Galileo's ideas were right or not. And the arguments he gave, I could talk about this book for a long time. A friend of mine has written a book about the book, Chris Graney, on setting aside all authority. But if you go to the next slide, what you should see is the one thing that this book Riccioli wrote that we still use today, which is the modern map of the moon. Riccioli was the Jesuit who started the idea of naming the big flat areas for the Sea of Tranquility, the Sea of Serenity. When you remember that line, Tranquility Base, Riccioli, the Jesuit, used that. And he named craters for prominent astronomers. And even though he concluded that he couldn't figure out how Copernicus could be right, he named the most prominent crater on the moon, Crater Copernicus. And even though Galileo had just been on trial 20 years earlier, he names a crater for Galileo. He also names a crater for himself and his friends. At the moment, there are 35 craters on the moon that bear the names of Jesuit priests or brothers who are also scientists. I'm not in a hurry to be one of those because you have to be dead. What the next slide shows, you don't have to be dead to have an asteroid named for you. And there are about 50 asteroids. The next, click again, and you'll see in red the asteroid that's asteroid 4947 Consolmagno. So I was able to tell my dad, okay, I've gone into religious life. You're not getting any grandkids for me, but I'll give you an asteroid. They made an asteroid of me, yes. The next slide. Just to remind you that, in fact, it was missionaries going around the world who were the first scientists who created a network of science occurring around the world so that they could observe eclipses, as in this painting from Thailand. They could observe how the weather behaved and map out patterns of weather. They could observe earthquakes, and from the timing of earthquakes, eventually set up a network that allowed us to understand the interior of the earth. By having this network of people around the world, you know, in those days, going to Thailand or going to South America was as crazy as going to the moon. And yet they were sent there to do that. And they brought their education with them, and they educated the locals to keep the science going and learning from the locals. The trees, quinine used to be called Jesuit bark, which they had learned from the indigenous people. Next slide. In 1891, Pope Leo XIII, the Leo before the current Leo, realized that we needed a way to show the world that the church was not anti-science, and so he established a Vatican observatory. The next slide.
Brother Guy?
Yep.
Looks like the Cal Band is here.
Oh, this is a perfect break.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Do we have any Cardinals in the room? Any Stanford? Yeah. We do? Stanford alumni? Do we have any Cal Berkeley Go Bears? Hey! Well, let's welcome the Cal Band. I was going to make a name, but you're like halfway through. So whenever they do, I want everybody in the room to move a little forward if you're in the back. I want everybody in the back to move forward to the second row of tables. We're going to take a quick picture with the Cal Band. Adriana is up there on the balcony. Please push forward real quickly. And we're going to take a quick picture, and then I'm going to ask you if you'll turn around and smile. Adriana is saying if you can't see her, she can't see you. Are we ready? Okay, everybody put your hands at the side and look up at Adriana. Ruth! Ruth, get in here. What are you doing, Ruth? So if you guys will stay where you are, we're going to let the band finish, and then after they march out, we're going to quickly take one more photo without the band in it. So I turn it back over to the Cal Band. Adriana's running up to the balcony. If you guys would get back into position, we're gonna take one more picture without the Cal Band. So again, if you can't see Adriana, she can't see you. Okay, Adriana? Thank you. Okay, please find your seats. We're about halfway through learning about the stars. So please find your seats quickly. As soon as you're quiet, I'll stop blowing. Does it hurt your ears? I'd like to welcome back Brother Guy, who is Jesuit trained, just like I am. I went to the University of Santa Clara, and I bring Brother Guy back to continue his presentation on both religion and science and the stars.
Wow. That's the first time I've ever seen astronomy welcomed with a marching band. I basically just want to give you a couple of slides to let you know how I wound up in this business. And so I start with this first one. That's actually me at the blackboard, training how to give that steely stare to my students, so I didn't have any yet. But the newspaper next to it is all about Sputnik being launched. I started school the year that Sputnik went up. And the next slide, I ended high school the year that people landed on the moon. Let's try the next slide. My best friend was going to MIT, so I decided to go there because it had the world's biggest collection of science fiction books. But I needed a major to go along with my long hair, and I chose Earth and Planetary, thinking that it was all about going to the planets and having it. Turns out it was geology. I mean, rocks. Who's could be more boring than rocks? Until I discovered there are rocks that fall from the sky. Some of them even land on tables here at Rotary Club, to show people what that meteorite looks like. And once you realize that you can touch outer space, you can even lick outer space if you're crazy. I don't recommend it. What could be more exciting than that? I went off and had all sorts of adventures, got a couple of degrees from MIT, went to Arizona, made a bunch of friends there, got a doctorate from that, came back to Boston. Next slide, next slide. So by the time I'm 30 years old, I'm walking across the Harvard Bridge to go to the MIT campus where I'm a postdoctoral fellow. I was a postdoc at Harvard 2 years. I was a postdoc at MIT 3 years. There's enough academics in this room that I think you get the message. 5 years as a postdoc means couldn't get a real job. I'm 30 years old, and I'm wondering to myself, why am I doing astronomy when people are starving in the world? What could be a more useless way of spending your life? I'm spending all this time writing papers that only 5 people in the world are going to read, and 2 of them are my enemies. Why am I doing this? It's never too late to run away from your problems. So that's what I did. I joined the U.S. Peace Corps. Next slide. And I said, I'll go anywhere you want me to go, do anything you want me to do. Well, the first important thing I did was to make the official Kenya 1983 Peace Corps t-shirt. That's me modeling it. I did the lettering, but the map and the giraffes and such drawn in there was by some far more talented person who also just happens to be in this room right now. So this is both when I was not gray and a whole lot skinnier. I thought what I was going to do was to be upcountry, living in rural Kenya, helping poor people, teaching in schools where there's no windows in the windows, no black on the blackboard. But the first thing I did, next slide, was to send me to the University of Nairobi, where I wound up teaching graduate students astrophysics, just like I could have been doing back home, except every weekend I would go up country to places like Allison School, and I'd bring a little telescope, and everybody in the village would come out and want to look through the telescope. They want to see the moon. How many people here have ever seen the moon through a pair of binoculars or a telescope? Isn't it amazing? How many of you have ever seen the rings of Saturn through a small telescope? How many of you have ever seen the rings of Saturn in a small telescope and not gone, oh, wow? And I realized that's why we do astronomy. It feeds our souls, which is just as important as feeding your stomach. We don't live by bread alone. I read that someplace. It's literally true. And that sense of completeness, knowing that all of us together can be asking these big questions. That's why we do astronomy. I came back to America. I was able, with my Peace Corps line in the resume, I was able to get a teaching job. Taught at a small school in Pennsylvania, Lafayette College. Absolutely loved it. And then I realized if I became a Jesuit priest, I'd have to do priest things, and listen to people tell me their problems, and I can't stand listening to people tell me their problems, Of course you got problems, you're an idiot, what do you expect? I'm told this is not good pastoral care. But Jesuits also have brothers. You can live in the community, and you can do the things that Jesuits do, like teaching. So, I joined the Jesuits, go back to that slide. There I am taking vows, and I had to take 3 vows as a Jesuit. Poverty, I'd been a grad student, I was used to that. Chastity, I'd been a grad student, I was used to that. Obedience, I was not used to. Under obedience, they made me go to Rome, and in the year 2015, I was in that crowd of people, all of the heads of all the different divisions of the Catholic Church, meeting with the Pope, and if you click again, click, there should be a little picture of me coming up from the far back. I'm in the back row, but I'm in the room. They made me the Pope's astronomer, the director of the Vatican Observatory. It's a job I've had now for 10 years. I finally retired from that in September. The next slide. Next. That's me. Next. And so here's some of the cool people I get to have met. Me, when my beard was still red, speaking with Pope John Paul II, and the next, who of course says about faith and science, science can keep faith from superstition, faith can keep science from false absolutes. There's Benedict, who came, and he had a fabulous sense of humor. In a small group, we were cracking jokes about meteorites. Here I am with Francis, a fellow Jesuit, and again, somebody who, whenever I'd walk into the room to an audience and he was there, his face would lit up. He knew who I was. That was pretty amazing. And of course, most recently, the next slide, we had a summer school this summer where, of the students from around the world, Pope Leo came and addressed them and encouraged them to do science with joy, to do science with a sense of gratitude, to do science in a way that reminds you why we're doing the science. Because the next slide, next. When I talk about Jesuit stars, what is different from being a Jesuit astronomer and being an astronomer anywhere else? And the difference has to be why we're doing it. I'm not doing it to get rich. I've got a vow of poverty. I'm not doing it to get girls. It didn't work for me in the first place. Why am I doing it? I'm doing it just because of the joy I get at looking at the stars, and the even deeper joy when I can understand a little bit of what I'm looking at. What's the other thing that Jesuits do? We not only do the science, we can write poetry about it, we can paint paintings, and finally we share it with the rest of the world. Because astronomy that you don't tell anybody about, you might just as well not have done it. One of the reasons that the Vatican has an observatory is to show the world that the Church supports science. We invented the science, came out of the Middle Ages in the universities. But it's more than that. It's to remind my fellow scientists that science doesn't have to be a contact sport where the goal is to knock down the other guy. But rather, science is this place where all of us can share our crazy ideas, be inspired by each other, speak across religious or ethnic or national boundaries, because we all live under the same sky, and the heavens do proclaim the glory of the Creator. Let's go to the next slide, and thank you very much.
I think we have time for some questions. Brother Guy, if we could take some. So, Brother Guy, thank you for reminding us how marvelous our world is. no matter how we seek to understand its mysteries. Much appreciate your presentation. Do we have any we have plenty of questions. We have Robert Rayburn for Brother Guy.
Well, first, thank you, Coach Joe, for bringing in two institutions of science, truly one that's of higher learning. I had the pleasure of meeting Cardinal Turkson when he visited Oakland in 2023. And Cardinal
Who's the head of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences.
Exactly. And I want to ask you to elaborate on the Pontifical Academy of the Sciences and just what all areas of science are covered at the
Back in the time of Galileo, there was a prince who decided to start an academy of people who could look more clearly than anyone else at the physical universe. And he called it the Academy of the Lynxes. And Galileo was a member and so proud of it that he signed his last name as Lynceum afterwards. It was Pope Pius XI who reinvigorated this into what is now the Pontifical Academy of Sciences. It has as many members as there are cardinals, 120. They come from every field of science. About half of them are Nobel Prize winners. You don't have to be Catholic. You don't have to be a believer. Stephen Hawking was a member. And their goal is to let the church know about things they ought to know about in the world of science. In the 1980s, they spearheaded the idea of the dangers of nuclear weapons and global winter. In the aughts, they really spearheaded the need for worrying about climate change, and very prominent in helping the church recognize that this is an issue that's going to affect more people. It's going to affect all of us, and it affects this universe. Right now, they've been holding a number of workshops on artificial intelligence. And one of our newest members just won a Nobel Prize in chemistry for the work he's done with AI. So these are a group of advisors who work regularly. The head of the Vatican Observatory is an ex officio member. So I got to meet these people. Unfortunately, I'm now retired, so it's my replacement who gets to show up to the next meetings. But it's fabulous meetings because they're just in a room of people who are interesting and excited and well worth knowing.
Isaac Koss-Reed.
Yes, we have a question right here.
Michael Malone.
And before, Mike, you take your question, I will pass this around, the meteorite. Just know as you pass it amongst yourselves, be careful, it is very heavy, and the last thing I would want is this to fall on anybody's toes.
Right. It will not break, but what it hits will.
Thank you. I'm Michael Fernandez Malone, and this is a question about. Okay. Is there any joke you could remember, astronomy related, that you might have shared with a pope? You mentioned one of them in particular you joked with. Any jokes you can remember? Anything
a joke
astronomy
involving
related?
astronomy that popes have had to hear. We all know that the universe is essentially the space-time continuum. And a fluctuation in the space-time continuum is what we call gravity. Stephen Hawking wrote a book 20 years ago saying that a quantum fluctuation in the space-time gravity could be the beginning of what we call the Big Bang. And he says, therefore, I don't need to believe in God starting the universe because the universe can generate itself. Now, the problem is that he doesn't ask where does the space-time continuum come from. But beyond that, he thinks that God is whatever started the Big Bang, and then he says gravity is whatever started the Big Bang. So he actually believes that God is gravity. Now, the crazy thing about that is, if God were gravity, that would explain why Catholics celebrate Mass.
I think we have time for one more question. Alex Polson.
Like an ice cream cone?
Thank you for being here. In the profile done in the New Yorker of you said the opposite of faith is certainty. What is certainty when you say the universe is real, it is makes sense and is worthy of study?
None of those things are certain. I'm actually quoting a woman named Anne Lamott who says the opposite of faith isn't doubt, the opposite of faith is certainty. Certainty kills any sense of curiosity. You have to be able to say, I don't know, before you can then say, let's find out. Certainty is deadly. In a love relationship, if you think you've got your spouse completely worked out, I've got all the answers, I know what they're going to do next, you're not in love with that person. Because love is finding out more and discovering that there's more and more to be found out. So the whole point of axioms is that I'm not certain of them. I'm just going to guess. If the universe works this way, how does it play out? And that's what an axiom... I mean, people want to say, do you prove science with God? No, God's one of the axioms. If you assume a God and then say, how does the universe work with that assumption, you could also assume there's no God and ask, how does the universe work under that assumption? And you can't prove one axiom over the other, but you can see the results of these axioms and ask yourself, which is the universe I want to live in?
Brother Guy, I have a little something here for you. I think we could all stay here for hours and hours and listen to you talk. I will let you know, he hasn't mentioned, but I happened to look online. Brother Guy does have some books you might look to check out. I really enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you very much.
I want you to know, in honor of your presentation, we've made a donation to Polio Plus.
Fabulous.
Rotary's signature project is try to end polio, eradicate polio from the world.
Excellent.
We are down to 2 war-torn countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Over the last 4 decades, we've reduced polio cases 99.9%, and we will eradicate polio because we are this close. And I also have for you a Rotary 4-way test coin. The 4-way test is kind of our motto, how we approach and live our life, both in business and personal. Thank you so much. We're just honored to have you here.
All right. Thank you all.
We have some bell ringers, Joe.
Lois?
Good afternoon, Rotary family. I want to ring the bell for our speaker that helped me figure out how I can talk about science and God at the same time without getting into any altercation, shall we say. And I'm a proud graduate of public policy at USF. So shout out to the Jesuits. And I want to give a shout out to my cousin in the Love Life Foundation. I attended their gathering on Saturday, and it was really beautiful and delightful. But what was most important is that this is to honor Luisha, our little cousin, because she was murdered. And for last week, there was just so much going on. I cannot think of a better way to acknowledge the fact that we've got a lot of work to do, but to make sure that you're going to educate kids early so they don't have to think about a gun as the way they resolve anything. Thank you.
Lois rings the bell for Brother Guy. Wes?
President Joe, thank you. I'd like to ring the bell twice. Once for the robust attendance here. It is fabulous to see the room so full, right? Yep. I would also like to ring the bell because as we wake up every morning to more and more uncertainty, I want to ring the bell for faith. Amen.
Alex Polson.
Ringing the bell for Brother Guy, Ptolemy, and Kepler.
Wayne Goodrow.
Coach Joe, my wife and I have just recently returned from our southern retreat, and so I missed last week's meeting. And reading the Live Oak, I read that my dear friend Bob Peltz had passed away. So in Bob's memory, I'd like to ring the bell And also, I'd like to ring the bell for all veterans who were here last week in celebration of Veterans Day, of which Bob was one and I am one, and I'll certainly miss Bob.
Wayne rings the bell for Bob Peltz. Past President Shannon Heckley.
I'd like to go Bears, ring the bell for the Cal Band. And I'd like to ring the bell again for our speaker committee that brings such spectacular speakers to this club.
David Stein.
I'd like to ring the bell for President Joe, who did a phenomenal job keeping this meeting on track today with no easy feat.
So I'd like to ring the bell. I've forgotten who I was, oh gosh, now I remember. Yesterday was Jack McAvoy's birthday. President Emeritus, here's to Jack McAvoy. And I also like to ring the bell for someone called Joe and Martha Gorelka. Their name appeared in the Rotary International magazine this month. I'll let you try to figure out where. CJ Hirschfield, retired nonprofit executive. Where's CJ?
I'm over here.
Oh, there he is.
Coach.
Who's our speaker next week?
Well, next week, no, but please.
Oh, 2 weeks. Thank you.
Please join us December 4th for our annual Feed the Hungry campaign. Seriously, has there ever been a more challenging time for our community's food insecure population? Our special speaker will be Salim Shakir Gilmore, Director of Student Equity and Success at Chabot College and board member at the Alameda County Community Food Bank. An Oakland native, Dr. Gilmore will share with us how the need is up, the funding is down, and how Rotary can play a significant role in supporting Oakland residents and families during this holiday season and beyond. Join us. Thank you.
Thank you, CJ. So I want to thank the Oakland Parks and Recs Foundation. I want to thank the Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir and all those that made this meeting fabulous. Brother Guy, we really enjoyed your presentation. I hope you will remember us, and we'll certainly remember you well. So happy Thanksgiving. Don't come for next week, come in 2 weeks. And I want to leave you with this thought. Through Rotary, world peace will come someday, and we will end polio too. Look out, Oakland Rotary is on the run. This meeting is adjourned. So great to see all of you.